Hey everyone, my name is Cryptic D, Athena, and welcome back to Devil Fruit Fridays. Last week we talked about the werewolf fruit, and this week we're continuing with the Halloween theme and moving on to the next devil fruit, the Frankenstein fruit. I didn't really have a name for this. I was gonna be like Franken no me or the Frankenstein fruit, but it's obviously a mouthful, and the werewolf fruit is also a mouthful. So I don't really know if Japan has like a Frankenstein shortening of the word Frankenstein. I'm sure they do. They may even have their own Frankenstein legend, but we're obviously sticking to the Western idea of Frankenstein and werewolf, and for next week's devil fruit. So let's just get right into it. The Frankenstein fruit is a interesting fruit because I don't know if it should be a zone or a paramecia. Because you could easily say that it could be like a human fruit model Frankenstein, or you could also say maybe like a monster no me, but we haven't seen that yet, so we don't really know. It could be a zone. It could easily be a zone, but it also could just be a paramecia that lets you stitch body parts to you, something like that. But the thing that I wanted to do with it was make it a paramecia that has aspects of a logia, because I thought it would be interesting if the logia aspect about it was that instead of creating and manipulating a fantasy element such as fire, water, grass. If you've seen my theory on the fourth devil fruit category, you'll know what I'm talking about. I thought it would be interesting if the quote-unquote element that you could produce and create was flesh, which is not out of the realm of anime powers. Like, I know there's in My Hero, there's a character that can turn you into a meatball. It's really disgusting, but I'm pretty sure there's also someone maybe in like Naruto or Full Metal Alchemist. I think I'm thinking of Full Metal because you can just go up to someone and blast them with alchemy, and their arm will just pop off. So it's weird. It's a weird power. Flesh powers are not they're not strange to anime. So I thought it'd be interesting if this particular devil fruit was the Logia fruit. I mean, you could think that maybe the werewolf fruit could be a Logia, in theory. You could also think that maybe you could think like maybe an invisible man fruit could be a Logia, because you're invisible, and maybe if someone attacks you, you actually turn to mist. Blah 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 blah. Point is, I think this fruit could be. Let's say you're attacked, and I don't know, your arm falls off, but your arm reforms into a new arm, but at the seam of where you were cut off, there are stitches. So it's kind of like, in a way, I was thinking of it as it's sort of a weakness. It has a sort of weakness similar to the darkness fruit that Blackbeard has, in that you take damage, but you still the activation is weird. And you have to, if you take damage, you have to actively think of doing the Logia part of this fruit. So I don't know, get your arm chopped off, you're not paying attention, get your arm chopped off, and you're just like, oh god, give me a second, and then your arm regrows, and it's stitched back together, something like that. This could easily just be a paramecia on its own, but I think it'd be more interesting if it was also a Logia. But the point is, the main power of this fruit is that if you are harmed in any way, that part of your body will be stitched back together, and it will act like a Logia fruit in a way. in a way, in a very loose way, I think combining the Logia and the Paramecia aspect into this power is very interesting, and that's what I wanted to keep it with. It's a Paramecia that has aspects of a Logia, but the weirdness of the Paramecia is so strong that the Logia powers are kind of weird, are kind of more weird than the Paramecia side. So yeah, there's that. You also have the ability to conduct electricity. I don't know if you'd be able to control it, because if you know anything about the Frankenstein story, at least from what I know, the Frankenstein's monster was made during a thunderstorm, and the Frankenstein doctor, he created the monster with electricity and lightning, zaps him, and he comes back to life. It could be an interesting thing that if you don't have a source of electricity, you will die, but I don't. That's a little extra. We don't need to do that. But point is, I think at best, when it comes to conducting electricity, you could probably redirect it in a similar vein as to Avatar: The Last Airbender. You could do something like that. So this may be handy for someone who works in the electrical department. Someone who has, this fruit is slowly becoming like a fruit that you need in construction. You know what I mean? Because if you take any sort of damage, you'll just regrow a body part. And if you need to handle electricity, you can just grab the wires just grab the wires with no protection at all. Just grab them, put them together. You're good to go. You're good to go. You could do something like that. But anyways, I think conducting electricity, you can't control it, but you can redirect it. Something like that. Because obviously we have a lot of electricity-based powers. Well, we don't have a lot in One Piece, but we have electricity-based powers, and they're not... I mean, they're cool, but, obviously we have that one guy that's immune to them, so we don't want to talk about that. But yeah, that's the first part of this. The next part is that another fun weakness that this fruit would have is that you are insanely weak to fire. In fact, you are literally afraid of fire. You physically are scared of fire when you eat this fruit. More so than water. More so than not having the ability to swim. As soon as you eat this fruit, any source of fire that you see, you are afraid of. I think it'd just be very funny. It'd be very fitting for the One Piece world if someone had this fruit. They're like, oh, I'm so powerful. I can regrow limbs. I can redirect electricity. What's that? Is that a candle? Is that a candle? Get that away from me. Get that away from me. You know what I mean? I think it'd be very funny. And it's obviously very fitting for One Piece. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it for that. Weakness, self-explanatory. Obviously, you have the other devil fruit weaknesses. Yeah, there's nothing much else to that. I just think it'd be very funny. Now, as for devil fruit awakenings, you could do a lot of things. You could go the stitching things together route, where now your abilities are expanded to the things around you. You can stitch things together, maybe create a weapon somehow with that. You could stitch together walls to protect yourself. You could also go the route of manifesting limbs from around you, similar to how robins work, but that's just how her fruit works in general. This would be like you produce limbs from your body and then they grow from the ground. Like, you have to actively produce them from your body. You can't just suddenly manifest them. They have to actively be produced. Something like that. Maybe. And that's a big maybe. I think that'd be the coolest I do think that'd be the coolest outcome for this particular Devil Fruit Awakening, but who knows, right? I feel like you could do a couple different things with those two things, stitching together objects or creating limbs from the ground. Either one of those would be the best outcome. Um, Maybe the awakening has something to do with electricity. Maybe if you can store electricity and you become super powerful, like super ripped or something. I don't know. But I think the awakening, my initial idea was that you could stitch together objects, and I like that power a lot. And I'd imagine if there's like the Stitch no Mi, there'd be some competition right there. Because I feel like that would do the same thing if it was awakened. But that's besides the point. Some devil fruits overlap, okay? It's no secret. Devil fruits overlap. Yeah, that's everything for this devil fruit. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of a special Devil Fruit Friday, and I'll see you all next week. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Twitter at cryptic_HEL, Cryptic Hell, for more One Piece content and to see all my videos drawings. Thank you all for watching, and have a good day, everyone.